Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Game 2 of today's Tuesday afternoon doubleheader between Post and Southern New Hampshire. Matt Scalzo, glad you could make me a part of your Tuesday afternoon. Game 1 was won by Southern New Hampshire in 5 innings. 8-0 was the final in favor of the Penmen. Abby Lineman had 4 RBIs, including a 2-run home run to lead the way for the Penmen. You saw a look at the Post defensive alignment. We'll run through the Penmen lineup as this first inning moves along. Megan McGurk, the freshman, on the mound for game 2 and deals in a first pitch strike to Jordan Resitar, designated player. First pitch coming at 2:31 local time. It is 61 degrees and sunny here at Lemoy Field. Resitar pops it up straight at first base, and making the catch is Alexandria Biseglia. We'll run through the Post offensive alignment. Some changes defensively for the Eagles in game 2. Isabella Oliver stays in center field. Brooke Dickinson flanks her in right, and Alyssa Calabrese moves over to left. Alexandria Biseglia is at first base. Hannah Sorrells is at second. Caitlin Lipsky, the starting pitcher in game 1, moves to shortstop. Nyla Sapia holds at third base, and Brianna Hines is still behind home plate as McGurk misses first pitch ball to Peyton Feldman. That is inside for ball number 2. Mackenzie Bergman stands on deck. It's the same lineup for Southern New Hampshire as it was in game number 1. 2-0 from McGurk is in for a called strike, and it's 2-1. Behind Bergman, who's on deck, it is Casey DeMora at batting 4th. Charlotte Donovan bats 5th. Abby Lineman batting 6th. Grace Jenkins 7th. Mick Alto 8th. And Alyssa Abbott rounds out the 9 as McGurk finds the outside part of the plate. And it's 2-2. A 2-2. Inside, and it's ball 3. So a full count now to Feldman, who went 2 for 3 in game 1 with a pair of base hits. Payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. And it's a 1-out walk to Peyton Feldman, who reaches base for the 3rd time today. And that brings up Mackenzie Bergman. Looking at McGurk, who makes her 2nd start of the year, went 2 innings in game 2 against Southern Connecticut State back on March 6th. Gave up 11 runs, all earned on 9 hits, 5 walks to 1 strikeout. Bergman pops up the first pitch. That'll go foul. For Bergman, she reached base twice. She went 1 for 2. A walk, grounded into a double play, and then a base hit. She was pinch ran for by Kennedy Craig, who came in to score after Bergman's base hit in the 5th. The 0-1. Low to Bergman, and it's 1-1. McGurk, a freshman out of Babylon, New York. The 1-1. Outside for ball number 2. This is driven deep out towards left field. Moving back is Calabrese. She lost it in the sun, and it goes off the base of the fence. Holding at first was Feldman. She wasn't sure if it was going to be caught or get out, so she only advances over to second as Bergman picks up a base hit. So Bergman gets another hit. Third time she's reached a base today, first time in game 2. Brings up Casey DeMore, the third baseman. Went 1 for 3 rather, in game 1. She falls 0 for 1 in game 2. Pops out to Biseglia at first. A pair of putouts by Biseglia in the top of the first. Runners on second and on first for Charlotte Donovan. She opened the scoring in game 1 with a 2-run single, and she lines this into the right center field gap. That will score 1 as Donovan moves on her horse on to second. Bergman will stop at third, and coming in to score is Peyton Feldman. It's 1-0 Southern New Hampshire as the Penmen strike first again on an RBI from Charlotte Donovan. Third RBI of the day for Donovan, first in game 1. She opens the scoring here as Abby Lineman has a pair in scoring position, and Lineman on the first pitch drills it into left field. Both runners will come in to score, and it's 3-0 Penman as Lineman, caught in a rundown, is forced back to first by Hannah Sorrells. And it's 3-0 Southern New Hampshire as Lineman, again, another 2-run hit. Had a 2-run home run in game 1 along with a 2-run single in the 5th, and now she has a 2-run single in the top of the first in game number 2. 6 RBIs on the day for Abby Lineman of the 11 runs that have been scored by Southern New Hampshire today. Grace Jenkins comes up in an 0-1 hole, and now falls behind 0-2. As the winds continue to gust straight into our face out here in right center field. The 0-2 outside for ball 1. Fouled back by Jenkins, and the count stays at 1-2. The 1-2. Jenkins takes low, and it's 2-2. Jenkins was 2 for 3 with a pair of base hits in game 1. And was left stranded in both occasions. Another 1-2. Jenkins flies it out towards right field. Moving in and making the catch is Brooke Dickinson, and the inning is over, but the damage has been done. Charlotte Donovan and Abby Lineman once again, a RBI double from Donovan and a 2-run single from Abby Lineman, as it at 3-0 Southern New Hampshire as we move to the bottom of the first and get our first looks in game number 2 at the Post Bats when we come back on the CACC Network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Bottom of the first inning upcoming. It is a 3-0 Southern New Hampshire lead after a 3-run first inning, an RBI double from Charlotte Donovan, and then Abby Lineman, another 2 RBI hit, this time a 2-run single. Makes it 3-0 Southern New Hampshire, as we'll get our first look at the pitcher in Game 2, Juliana Colbert. Deals a first pitch strike to Isabella Oliver, who leads off in Game 2. First pitch strike, and then a ball on the next one. Oliver was 1 for 2 in Game 1, delivered a triple for the first hit of the afternoon for the Eagles, and then grounded out to end the game. She falls behind 1-2 as she can't catch up to the fastball from Colbert. The 1-2. Called strike 3 at the knees. Colbert gets her first strikeout on the first batter she faces, sends Oliver down looking on 4 pitches. Colbert making her 6th start on the season, 8th appearance. She is 3-1 on the year with a 4.25 ERA through 28 innings of work. Deals a first pitch strike to Caitlin Lipsky, and it's 0-1. Colbert has struggled in terms of strikeouts to walks, 18 strikeouts to 24 walks coming into today. She's up to 19 strikeouts now after putting down Oliver by way of the K. The 1-1. Brushes inside, and it's 2-1. To Lipsky, who was the starting pitcher for Post in Game 1. Went all 5 innings. A called strike on the 2-1 makes it 2-2. Lipsky went 0 for 2 at the dish. Here's the 2-2. Foul tipped into the catching mitt. And there's a pair of strikeouts to begin the afternoon for Juliana Colbert. Let's take a look at the Southern New Hampshire defensive alignment. Abby Lineman is behind the dish again. Mackenzie Bergman holds down first. Charlotte Donovan at second. Grace Jenkins at short. Casey DeMora at the hot corner. Out in center is Peyton Feldman, and once again she's joined in right by Alyssa Abbott and Mick Alto in left. As Nyla Sapia comes up to bat, the third baseman took a first pitch ball and now lifts this out towards shallow right field. Abbott charges and makes the catch for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3, bottom of the first for Colbert. Second inning coming up on the CACC network. into the top of the second at Lemoy Field. 8-9-1 due up for the Penmen in the top of the second inning. It's a 3-0 lead for Southern New Hampshire after an RBI double from Charlotte Donovan, followed up by a 2-run single from Abby Lineman. And then a 1-2-3 bottom of the first by Juliana Colbert, paced by a pair of strikeouts. Hands the ball back to Megan McGurk, who faces Mick Alto to begin the top of the second. First pitch called strike, dealt in to Alto, the left fielder for Southern New Hampshire, who was 1 for 3 in game 1. Slow bouncer fielded by Lipsky at short, fires on the first, and it is in time for out number 1. Brings up the 9-hitter in Alyssa Abbott. She was 0 for 2 with a strikeout, working against Lipsky in game 1. McGurk looking for a cleaner inning of work in the top of the second. Misses on the first pitch ball to Alyssa Abbott. Lipsky had some trouble in the first inning of game 1 and then settled in till the 5th. The 1-0 is low, and it's 2-0 here to Abbott. The 2-0 from McGurk, fouled back by Abbott, 2-1. The 15th all-time meeting between these two. Today's doubleheader, first time these two have faced off since 2019. Southern New Hampshire has now won the last 8 meetings after the Game 1 win and have shut out the Eagles in the last 3 times they have faced off. Counts at 3-1 to Abbott. McGurk deals, that is high, and it's a walk dished out to Abbott. Puts her on first with 1 away. Another 1-out walk from McGurk. Handed Feldman a free pass in the top of the first, and she eventually came in to score on the double from Charlotte Donovan. It's back to the top of the order with Jordan Resitar. That is high for ball 1. Resitar popped out to first. Her first time up. She was 0 for 3 in game 1, had a run scored. – 1-0, painted inside for a called strike. One from McGurk. Skips low. Two 2-1 to Resitar. Driven out towards center field. Oliver tracks back, makes the catch. Tagging from first and moving on to second goes Abbott. On a deep fly ball. Puts a runner in scoring position with 2 away for Peyton Feldman. And a change defensively. Calabrese is now in right field with Dickinson in left. And the two were flip-flopped to start the day, or start game 2. Brooke Dickinson, that is. 1-0 is high, and it's 2-0 to Feldman. Worked the walker last time up. Feldman rips this down the line and left and into the corner. Coming in to score, Cubs Abbott. Feldman slams on the brakes as she rounds second base. And it's 4-0 Southern New Hampshire on the 2-out double from Peyton Feldman. That brings in Alyssa Abbott. And some more 2-out hitting on display from the Penmen. Well, Feldman has struggled. Had just 5 hits coming into today. She's got 3 in this as Bergerman hits a slow roller fielded by Sapia and fires on to first to end the inning. But another run is tacked on the double from Feldman. It is 4-0 Penmen as we head to the bottom of the second on the CACC network. Back for the bottom of the second inning, 4-0 Southern New Hampshire in front after the RBI double with 2 outs by Peyton Feldman tacked on to the Penman lead. Leading off in the bottom of the second, Bailey Dickinson, and Colbert delivers a first pitch strike at the knees. It'll be Dickinson, Calabrese, and Biseglia 4, 5, and 6. In the bottom of the second, as that pitch is chased up high by Dickinson, and it's quickly 0-2. Colbert looking for her 3rd strikeout in 4 batters to begin game 2. Dickinson drives this towards right center field, moving over and making the catch is Peyton Feldman from center field. And there is one gone in the bottom of the second. Brings up Alyssa Calabrese. Calabrese in game 1 went 1 for 2, had a double. Takes a called strike on the first pitch from Colbert. That misses from Colbert, and the count evens at 1-1. For Calabrese on the season, she is hitting .500, 3 for 6 through the 3 games this year. And now she adds to that total with a seeing eye single up the middle. First hit of game 2 for Post. A 1-out single from Calabrese, and she's now 4 for 7 on the season at the plate. The sophomore struggled in her first few games last year and then made some changes after talking with her teammates, her coaches, even with help from her parents who record her when she's at the dish. Helped get her in the groove, and she's carried that forward into the 2025 season as Biseglia takes the first pitch strike from Colbert. The 0-1 right at the knees, a called strike 2. The 0-2 from Colbert, cut on and missed. Strikeout number 3 for Juliana Colbert. And there's 2 gone in the bottom of the second. Brings up Hannah Sorrells, the second baseman for Post. She did not play in game 1 between these two. Sorrells on the year 0 for 3. Appeared in both games against Southern Connecticut State. She falls behind 0-2 quickly against Colbert. The 0-2 from Colbert. Got her. Strike 3. 4 strikeouts from Colbert through 2 innings. And the Penmen look to add on to their already 4-0 lead when we come back in the top of the third on the CACC network. Back at Lemoy Field, top of the third inning, 4-0 Southern New Hampshire in front. Juliana Colbert dealing on the mound. 4 strikeouts of 7 batters faced. She'll face 8, 9, and 1 when she comes back on the mound in the bottom of the third. Due up in the top of the third is 4, 5, and 6 for Southern New Hampshire. Casey DeMora leads off working against Megan McGurk, and the first pitch from McGurk. Can't find the zone. 1-0. Charlotte Donovan waits on deck, and then Abby Lineman to follow after Donovan. As DeMora takes second pitch low, and it's 2-0. DeMora popped out to Biseglia at first, back in the top of the first inning. This is lined into center field. It'll drop in front of Oliver. That's a leadoff single for Casey DeMora. First leadoff base runner for Southern New Hampshire in game 2. This one is driven deep out towards center field. Oliver, long run, bounces over her head and over the fence for a ground rule double from Charlotte Donovan, who has her second extra base hit of the day. Another double for Donovan. Puts runners on second and third for Abby Lineman. So back-to-back hits from Demora and Donovan set the table for Abby Lineman, who already has a 2-run single in inning one in game 2, and then in game 1 had a 2-run home run and another 2-run single. She's got another chance here for 7th and 8th RBI of the day. She works this the other way. Line drive, it goes over the head of Calabrese and to the wall. Lineman motors into second, and coming into scores, Demora and Donovan makes it 6-0 Southern New Hampshire in the top of the 3rd inning, and Abby Lineman's mega day continues with another 2 RBIs. Brings up Grace Jenkins. First pitch, swing and a miss from Jenkins. Flew out to right field her first time up to end the top of the 1st inning. Lineman in scoring position at second base. And skips low. Lineman will advance over to third as it got away from the catcher and Hines, and the throw was late. Bunt laid down the third base side. Throw is dropped at first by Sorrells, and Lineman comes in to score as Jenkins will be aboard. Was just putting down the bunt to try and bring another run in, and instead Jenkins works aboard. So it'll be an error against Sorrells. But an RBI for Jenkins on the bunt. Mick Alto up. Takes a called strike at the knees, and the count sits at 1-1. First RBI of the day for Jenkins after going 2 for 3 in game 1. Alto fouls off the 1-1. McGurk continues to struggle in her freshman season. Gave up 11 runs against Southern Connecticut State. Not out of the woods here against Southern New Hampshire. Still nobody out. Jenkins on first, and the count sits at 2-2 to Mick Alto. Two is low. Count runs full with nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning. Payoff pitch from McGurk. Outside ball 4. I thought I was going insane that I got the count wrong. Alto didn't know she had worked a walk, and so there's runners on first and second with nobody away. Brings up Alyssa Abbott. Walked and scored back in the 2nd. First pitch swinging, it is popped foul down the first base side, out of reach for Biseglia. The 0-1. Abbott again fights it off with a foul ball. The 0-2 from McGurk. Skips along the turf. 1-2 now to Abbott. Altos at first, Jenkins at second. 7-0 the lead for Southern New Hampshire. 3 in the first, 1 in the second, another 3 here in the third. Still nobody out. The 1-2 bounces in front of home plate. 2-2 now to Abbott. McGurk had it at 0-2. Abbott has worked the count back even. The 2-2 popped up out of play. Abbott trying to reach base for the second time in this game and second time today. As the 2-2 comes in from McGurk, and Abbott, again, another foul ball. The 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. McGurk to Abbott, and Abbott lines it into left field, and charging in and making the catch is Dickinson for out number 1. Brings back the top of the order with Jordan Resitar, who is 0 for 2. A pop out and a fly out so far for the designated player. First pitch to Resitar is high for ball 1. Southern New Hampshire trying to sweep the day and improve to 9-5 overall in the season. First 2 games for the Penmen back up in the Northeast, as Resitar pops it into shallow left. Moving back and not being able to make the catch is Sorrells. And then caught out because of awkward positioning is Mick Alto. She's thrown out at second. Advancing over to third goes Jenkins, and Resitar sits on first. And runners on the corners now for Feldman. Ground ball under the glove of Sorrells. 1 run comes in to score. It is Jenkins, and Feldman has another RBI, her second of the day. Makes it 8-0 Southern New Hampshire. Resitar advances over to second base, and Mackenzie Bergman comes up to bat. She is 1 for 2 thus far. Takes a first pitch strike on the inside part of the plate. As I was saying, for Southern New Hampshire, they had a spring Florida trip that spanned from March 2nd to March 8th, where they played their first 12 games. Sorrells on the backhand flips to second, and that is in time to get Feldman out, and that will end the inning. But more damage done. Another 4 runs brought across by Southern New Hampshire. It's 8-0 Penman as we head to the bottom of the third on the CACC Network. Back at Lemoyne Field, bottom of the third inning upcoming. 8-9-1 due up for Post, trailing 8-0 to Southern New Hampshire. The Penmen have scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and now 4 in the third against Megan McGurk. And Juliana Colbert has made quick work of the 7 batters she has faced thus far from Post. Just the lone single given up to Alyssa Calabrese. And then 4 strikeouts of the other 6 batters that she has retired. First pitch to Brianna Hines is low for ball 1. Hines did not bat in game 1. With Caitlin Lipsky, the pitcher, who is now playing at shortstop in game 2, hit as Hines hits a slow roller to second. Flipped on by Donovan to first, and there is out number 1 in the bottom of the third. Brooke Dickinson, the 9-hitter, now comes up to bat. And Colbert has not had to throw many pitches. 25 coming into this third inning. First pitch is a ball in the dirt to Dickinson. Her pitching counterpart, Amelia Freitas, in game 1 threw 49 pitches in 5 innings for Southern New Hampshire, on its way to an 8-0 win. Dickinson cuts and misses on the 1-0. One is outside, and it's 2-1 now to Dickinson. She went 0 for 2 in game 1. Pair of strikeouts. Fouls that off, and the count is evened at 2-2. She was also playing at shortstop in that last contest. The 2-2 from Colbert is in the dirt. Count runs full against Dickinson. Payoff pitch from Colbert. Catching a piece is Dickinson, able to stay alive on a foul ball. Another payoff pitch from Colbert and another foul ball from Dickinson. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat upcoming. Here it is, and wouldn't you know it, another foul ball from Dickinson. 3 straight foul balls. Colbert sets in the circle. And a called strike 3. Freezes Dickinson at the knees. She thought she had worked a walk. Instead, she is rung up for strikeout number 5 for Colbert. And it's back to the top of the order with Isabella Oliver. 5 strikeouts the first time through the order for Colbert, and it started with the first batter she faced in Isabella Oliver, who takes first pitch ball outside. "1-0 is low, and Oliver quickly ahead 2-0. Oliver struck out looking in the first, had the triple in game 1. 2-0 bounces in, and Oliver had 3-0 against Colbert. .30 is in the zone. Taken all the way was Oliver. No walks thus far for Colbert today. That is driven foul down the right field line. And Colbert working from behind gets it to a full count. Oliver sets in the box. The 3-2 from Colbert bounces in, and Oliver works a 2-out walk. First walk issued by Colbert, first walk issued by either of the Southern New Hampshire pitchers today. Amelia Freitas was locked down 5 shutout innings in Game 1 en route to an 8-0 win. Colbert now works against Lipsky. Oliver is going on the first pitch, and she is gunned down. Lineman with a dart from home plate catches Oliver stealing, and the inning is over. An unconventional 1-2-3 inning for Colbert, and we head to the top of the 4th. Southern New Hampshire up 8-0 on the CACC network. Top of the 4th inning from Lemoyne Field, 8-0 Southern New Hampshire in front over Post. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, glad you could make me a part of your Tuesday afternoon. Southern New Hampshire took Game 1, 8-0 through 5 innings. They're looking to add on to its already big advantage in Game number 2. Megan McGurk sets out for her 4th inning of work. First pitch swinging, and it's a ground ball underneath the glove of Nyla Sapia. And Casey DeMora reaches on a leadoff single, just like she did to begin the top of the 3rd inning. Charlotte Donovan now comes up to bat, 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles, an RBI double in the first and then a ground rule double in the second. Takes a first pitch ball high from McGurk, who's making her second start in her freshman career. And, well, much like the first, McGurk has not had a lot to be happy about, as the 1-0 is cut on and missed, and it's 1-1. McGurk gave up 11 runs in 2 innings against Southern Connecticut State back on the 6th. The 1-1 driven into center field, and it is bobbled by Oliver. Advancing on to 3rd, and coming home is DeMora. Now she slams on the brakes as she comes around 3rd. Moving into 2nd goes Donovan. That will bring up Abby Lineman, who is 2 for 2 with 4 RBIs, a 2-run single in the first and then a 2-run double in the third. 8 RBIs on the day for Lineman. She's looking to crack into double figures with 2 more runners in scoring position. Swings on the first pitch and pushes it out of play down the first base line. Donovan gets credited with a single, advanced to second on the error from Oliver. The 0-1 to Lineman. And again, that is slapped foul down the right field line. Lineman had 4 RBIs in game 1, a 2-run home run and a 2-run single. She has been retired just once. As this is smoked deep center field. Oliver back out of here. Another home run for Abby Lineman, a 3-run shot. And Southern New Hampshire has broken it wide open in the 4th. It is 11-0 on Lineman's second home run of the day. That is the 3rd home run of the season for Abby Lineman. And she has 11 RBIs on the day. Gets her up to 21 total on the season. There's an early leader for any 10 player of the week. And it's number 23 in navy and gold in Abby Lineman. And that will do it as Megan McGurk will depart. New pitcher coming on the mound for Post. We'll figure out who it is and get you everything you need to know when we come back on the CACC Network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Alyssa Hughes is on the mound for Post, making her 3rd appearance of the year. A 7.87 ERA through 2.2 innings of work. 5 hits, 5 runs allowed, 3 of those earned. 2 walks, no strikeouts. Opponents are batting .417 against the right-hander. And is dribbled foul by Grace Jenkins. And a 1-1 count. Megan McGurk's day has come to a close. 3 innings, 10 hits, 11 runs allowed. 10 of those earned, 3 walks to no strikeouts on 67 pitches. 1-1 is fouled back by Jenkins. The 1-2 outside to Jenkins, and count is evened at 2-2. Nobody out in the top of the 4th. 11-0 the lead for Southern New Hampshire, and it was just added on to by Abby Lineman. A 3-run home run to straightaway center. This is pulled down the line foul by Jenkins. Lineman has 7 RBIs today, 3 for 3. A single, a double, and a home run. In game 1, she went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs, a home run, and a single. As Jenkins fights off another 2-2 pitch. This is poked out towards second base. Catch is made by Sorrells. And the first batter is retired by Alyssa Hughes. Senior out of Staten Island, New York. Went 1-5 last year, 2-2 as a sophomore and 1-1 as a freshman. Made 7 starts last year with an 8.37 ERA through 44 and a third innings pitched. That is poked down the line by Mick Alto, and she'll get aboard on a single. Alto now has reached base in back-to-back at-bats. Worked a walk her last time up. And that brings up the 9-hitter in Alyssa Abbott. Abbott, a walk and a flyout so far today in game 2. Game 1 for Abbott was an 0 for 2 game. Ground out and a strikeout. Abbott, a blooper that will find its way into left field for a fair ball. Back-to-back base hits from the Penman has runners on first and second with 1 gone. And it's back to the top of the order with Jordan Rezatar. Rezatar, first pitch swinging and lines it foul down the left field line. Rezatar is 1 for 3. Pop out, fly out, single so far. And this time she finds the gap on the left side of the infield. And everyone moves another 60 feet. Bases are now loaded with 1 out for Peyton Feldman. And there is just 1 out on the pop out from Jenkins. Feldman has reached base all 3 times today. A walk, double, and a single. Last 2 have resulted in RBIs. First pitch is off the mark from Hughes. And it's 1-0. Feldman, a blooper in the left, that goes foul. Here comes a 1-1. This is drilled into left center field. It'll split the gap and go all the way to the wall. 1 run is in, motoring around third. Here comes Rezatar. The throw to the plate is not in time. It's a bases clearing double from Peyton Feldman, and it is 14-0 Southern New Hampshire in the top of the 4th inning. Feldman saw all the damage that lineman was doing. Well, she's trying to catch up to her. 5 RBIs in game 2 for Feldman, including that bases clearing double to continue the strong offensive day for Southern New Hampshire. And the pitching struggles continue for Post. First pitch swinging and a ground ball foul by Mackenzie Bergman. Bergman is 1 for 2. Single, ground out, and then he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd. Bergman pops it up to short. Catches made by Lipsky. And the Penmen have now batted around in the 4th. Casey DeMora comes up to bat for the 2nd time in this inning. Reached on a single and then was driven in on the 3-run home run by Abby Lineman. First pitch to DeMora, fouled off on a check swing. Showing bunt is DeMora. Pulls back and lifts this out towards left field. Dickinson into the gap, makes the catch, and the inning is over. 14-0, Southern New Hampshire in front. They add another 6 runs, and the bottom of the 4th is coming up from Lemoy Field on the CACC network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. 14-0 Southern New Hampshire in front. 6 runs in the top of the 4th inning. A 3-run home run from Abby Lineman. And then a bases clearing double with the bases loaded. Brought in another 3 runs from Peyton Feldman. Lipsky lays down a bunt, and she's able to beat out the throw for a leadoff hit. First one of the day for Post. Casey DeMora has not had to do much work over at third base today. Has done a lot of damage with the bat. As Nyla Sapia can't catch up to the first pitch strike from Juliana Colbert, who has 5 strikeouts today. Misses high on the 0-1. The 1-1. Swing and a miss from Tompkins. It's 1-2 with Lipsky over at first. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Tompkins down on strikes. The throw back to first. Lipsky dives back in time. Strikeout number 6 for Colbert today. And there's one gone in the top of the 4th inning. Bailey Dickinson comes up to bat. She's 0 for 1, flew out to center fielder last time up. Fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1. Alyssa Calabrese stands on deck if it gets to her. Middle infield at double play depth between Jenkins and Donovan. Dickinson chases upstairs as Colbert ramps up the heat. Colbert looking for back-to-back strikeouts in the bottom of the 4th, and she gets it. Strikeout number 7 for Colbert. Seven strikeouts for Colbert, and Alyssa Calabrese comes up. She's 1 for 1, had a single back in the 2nd. Lone hit for Post up until that bunt single from Lipsky here in the 4th. The 0-1. Calabrese out in front. 0-2. Colbert looking for 3 straight strikeouts to end the inning. She rocks and deals the 0-2. That is low, and Calabrese lays off it. Works the count to 1-2. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Calabrese down on strikes. And 3 straight strikeouts from Juliana Colbert. Gets her up to 8 on the day. That brings us to the top of the 5th inning. A 14-0 Southern New Hampshire lead. Come back after this on the CACC Network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Top of the 5th inning, 14-0 Southern New Hampshire in front. Alyssa Hughes back out on the mound. First pitch swing, a ground ball is foul off the bat of Charlotte Donovan, who leads off here in the 5th. Donovan is 3 for 3. An RBI double in the first, a ground rule double in the 3rd, and then a single last time up in the 4th. Check swings. Pia fields at 3rd, fires onto 1st, and Donovan is retired to begin the top of the 5th. Abby Lineman now comes up. 7 RBIs in this game. She's got 11 total on the day. Lineman doesn't have any people on base for the first time, I think, all day today. Had the 2-run home run in the first in Game 1, and then a 2-run single in the fifth of Game 1. In Game 2, a 2-run single in the first, a 2-run double in the third, and a 3-run home run in the fourth. Lineman has just been retired once today, back in the third. There were 2 outs and nobody on. So just the second time today that Lineman doesn't have anybody on base to try and drive in. She's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Hughes works it outside, and it's 1-2. The 1-2. Lineman, ground ball, fielded by Lipsky at short. The throw is high, but able to keep her foot on the bag is Biseglia, and that is out number 2. Just the second time today that Lineman has been retired. And both have come on 6-3 putouts. And that brings up Grace Jenkins. First pitch is in the dirt to Jenkins from Hughes. Jenkins has flown out to right, reached on an error and got an RBI in the third, and then popped out to second in the fourth. Jenkins takes a called strike at the knees. That ball bounces in from Hughes, and it's 2-1. Uh, 2-1. Low, and it's 3-1 now to Jenkins. Sharply hit ground ball. Sapia fields at third, fires on to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Alyssa Hughes. In the top of the fifth, we'll go to the bottom of the fifth, where Post needs a lot of runs to avoid getting mercy ruled here in Game 2. We'll be back after this on the CACC Network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Bottom of the fifth inning. A 1-2-3 top of the fifth for Alyssa Hughes. First time the Penmen of Southern New Hampshire have been held scoreless here in Game 2. For Post, they need 7 runs to avoid being mercy ruled here in the bottom of the fifth inning. They'll be working against Juliana Colbert, who they have been able to get on base against 3 times with 2 hits and a walk, but they've also been struck out 8 times by Colbert. They were mercy ruled 8-0 in Game 1. Trying not to be shut out on the day. As Colbert works ahead quickly, 0-2 against Alex Biseglia. The 0-2 bounces in from Colbert, and it's 1-2. For Southern New Hampshire, they were picked to finish fourth in the NE10, tied for fourth with Franklin Pierce. Penman in their return to the Northeast, looking to improve to 9-5 on the year. The 1-2 comes in, and that races high from Colbert, and it's 2-2 against Biseglia. For Southern New Hampshire, they put up 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the third, and 6 in the fourth. And Colbert picks up strikeout number 9 as Biseglia goes down by way of the K. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, glad you could make me a part of your Tuesday. Southern New Hampshire, 2 outs away from a doubleheader shutout. And Colbert quickly ahead on Hannah Sorrells. 4 straight strikeouts for Colbert. That in at the knees for a called strike 2. Colbert is locked in here. The 0-2. Popped up, foul ground first base side. Charging over and not able to come up with the catch is Abby Lineman, the catcher. Lineman has done basically everything today. 11 RBIs across the 2 games, 7 in this one. 2 home runs. She's had multiple RBIs on every hit she's had today. Sorrells cuts and misses, and there's 2 gone on the 10th strikeout from Colbert. Looking ahead for both of these teams. For Post, they are going to head down to Florida from the 14th to the 19th of March for the Spaced Coast Spring Games. As Brianna Hines digs in and takes a first pitch strike from Colbert. As for Southern New Hampshire, they'll stay on the road for quite some time as Hines quickly falls behind 0-2. Next up is a Thursday doubleheader of next week on the 20th at Felician. They won't have a home game till the end of March on the 26th when they welcome AIC. Hines fouls off the 0-2. Colbert looking for one more strike to end the day and have a doubleheader sweep and shutout of Post. The 0-2 is low, and it's 1-2. Colbert's able to get strikeout number 11. You got to assume she's a front runner for any 10 Player of the Week, and Abby Lineman with her day today I think would be enough to win Conference Player of the Week in any conference. Foul ball, first base side, catch is made by Bergerman, and that will do it. Southern New Hampshire sweeps the doubleheader 8-0 in Game 1 and 14-0 here in Game 2. 10 strikeouts from Colbert in Game 2. And then Abby Lineman, I've talked about it at length, her phenomenal day. 11 RBIs, 2 home runs. She did everything at the dish, and Southern New Hampshire improves to 9-5 on the season. Meanwhile, Post falls to 0-4. Talked about what lies ahead for both of these teams, but that'll do it for today's doubleheader from Lemoy Field. Special thanks to our entire production crew, my producer Jake. If you were able to make us a part of your Tuesday afternoon at all, we appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Matt Scalzo, signing off from Lemoy Field.